Hey everybody, today we're going to go ahead and start and build our kit. There's the Wind Power 2.0. Okay, in order to start, we'll go ahead and cut the tape that's here. Okay, here's our instruction manual. Here's the rest of the pieces that we will be using. Here's the long blades. We will not be using these short blue blades. Here's the rest of the pieces. Okay. So the first step is to look into our manual. In order to begin building our windmill, we will go to page 20. On page 20, we have step number 1. So we're going to go ahead and start with this. So here it first says we will use a couple of pieces. So we'll begin to opening these bags. One thing that I like to do is separate all the pieces that are alike in order to help us build this model. Okay, the zip ties will not be used as well. These are just the tools to be able to take off this tube from the windmill. This one here will hold most of our pieces, very small pieces, so be careful not to lose one. So we will not be using these pieces, so you can put those away. Okay, we are ready to begin. So the first piece is this long piece that's located here. That's the one that we'll be using for the bottom of the base. Now, make sure you look at the instruction manual and make sure it's facing the right way. As you can tell, these two prongs here are facing towards the back, like so. Now we're going to go ahead and put one of these on top of it. Make sure you count each hole in order for you to make sure it's in the correct position. Here I see 4 that are empty, and then the 5th one is where we put this one. So we count 4, and then the 5th one. So we have 4 empty. Now, the next piece is going to be behind this one, and it's going to be a piece that looks like this. Do not confuse it with one of these. They're 2 different pieces. One has a prong outside, and this one has nothing, just 2 holes. We want this one. In order to make these pieces come together, we'll be using these red pieces to connect them. Now this one, located here, we put them on the edges, located there. So go like this. Make sure you squeeze them all the way in. And then here shows it should be on the 2nd hole, located here. So what you do is just squeeze them in. Next piece would be one like this one. This one will go into the middle behind the piece that we just installed. After that, make sure you choose a right one as well. Let me remove it so you can see. So you have 2 different types, as you can tell. So for this one, we use this kind. And then we'll install one of this. On the other side, make sure you grab the one that has a hole in the bottom, not on the sides. And we go like that. Okay. We go to step 2. Go ahead and put another one on the other side. That one goes on the very edge, like this. Put our 2 red pieces, like that. Next piece looks like this. Go on both edges. Then 2 more reds are going to go like this. Have a space in each. Okay. We're also going to put another one exactly like this one, but in this side. Like that. Go ahead and put this on top. And the 2 more. Like so. As you can tell, we have separate pieces by 1 here and by 1 here. We go to step number 3. Go ahead and put this one on. You have to make sure these are pointing away from the actual frame. These are pointing that way. This one's pointing towards me. All you have to do is just put it on top. Make sure you squeeze in there so it could be nice and tight and firm. Otherwise, your windmill will be very loose. Okay. And then I'll grab another of this piece. I'm going to put these on the very edges. Now here we got to count again. And I notice there's 3 holes above, and we'll put it in the 4th one. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Goes in the 4th one like so. Okay, ready for step number 4. Next, we're gonna grab. This step is a bit confusing, but it's not too hard. First one you want to build is grab this piece here. That's what we need, and then one that has 3. Now on this one, we're gonna grab 2 of these that have holes on the sides and put them on the side of the one with 3. Like this. Then We're going to grab one that has a hole in the bottom and not on the sides and put it on the top. Okay, once we already built this piece, we're going to go ahead and install it into our frame. We're going to get some anchor pins and put it on the sides. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and count the holes that we needed. 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll be the 5th hole from the bottom. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th hole from the bottom. Alright. Go ahead and go on our 5th step. Okay, this one, the easiest way to be able to install your shaft, axle shaft, is by first putting the outer gear and then install it inside and then put in the inside gears. We'll go over that. Okay, we'll go ahead and grab our rod. Install our shaft length. You're going to leave the one in the middle with nothing, and you're going to put your anchor pins on the sides. Make sure you put 4. They're nice and sturdy. Okay, you're going to grab one with 3. Like this. We're going to go ahead and put it in the back. Now, if you notice, it's going to be located right above this one. Right above this piece here. Like this. Now, here comes the tricky part. We're going to do our shaft, our axle shaft. We're going to use a big yellow gear and a plastic washer. We're going to go ahead and grab this and put it inside. See how it aligns perfectly to the hole in the back? That's what we want to see. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and install our inner gears. The first one is going to be a clear washer. So we put that in. Our next is going to be a red gear. And then we're going to have a blue gear and a yellow gear. Between those, we have these black plastics. So we're going to go ahead and install. First is the red gear. Now these, let me see what these are called first. I don't want to misname them. Axle locks. So we're going to grab these axle locks and put it in here. Okay, we're going to push a little bit back. That way you have room for the other gears. Not too much, so we'll come close to this side. Okay, we're going to have one more. Next is our blue gear. One more axle lock. Our large yellow gear. Then last will be a clear washer. Clear plastic washer. Okay. One thing that I like to do is to push all the gears to the edges of the frame. So this one will push it like this. The red one will push it forward. Then the axle lock's right behind it. We'll move this other axle lock right here in the middle. Put the blue gear right next to it. This one we like to put in the very back, like this. Okay. Next, we will go to step number 6. Go ahead and flip this over. Make sure you have these 2 prongs facing you. Gonna go ahead and grab 2 of these long pieces. and get our anchor pins. Make sure you put one in both sides, but leave nothing in the middle. Grab another one and put it together like this. We need 2 more anchor pins. Put them on the edges. Now this one is going to go in the second hole located here. So you want a space right there, like this. Okay. Go to step 7. We're going to put our next gears and axle. Okay. This one we'll do similar. We're going to go ahead and put this piece first, then the axle rod. Yes, we'll do that instead. That way it'll be easier on us. So we put our anchor pins. This one is going to go above the last piece that we put, the one space in between. Like this. There's a space in between. Go ahead and grab an axle. Go ahead and install it inside. And we're going to go ahead and put our gears. We use a clear washer. Put it in the axle. Our first gear is going to be a red gear, then blue gear, and then our yellow gear. Just a quick note on this one. If you notice how it's facing backwards like this on all the gears. So that's how we will install them. The other one was facing forward, so that one was good, but this one is backwards. So make sure you pay attention to that. So first, we use our small red gear. Next is our blue gear. And last is our yellow gear. Okay. For now, we don't want no gears to be in mesh. So we'll try to get them out of the way from the other gears. Like this. Make sure they're free. Okay. We're going to go ahead and go to step number 8. We're going to put a piece like this. And one of these. If you see, this one is on the edge. And it will be locked in place above the one we just put with the axle. Make sure you get it nice and tight. Okay, like so. Go on step number 9. We're going to grab 2 of these. Make sure you look at the holes you're going to go to. There's going to be a little bit offset. You're going to have one in the edge and another one in the middle, but nothing in the right side since it's just 2. So this one has 2 holes facing up. The 3 holes are facing to the side. Okay. Do the same thing for the other one, but it'll be in the one in the middle. Okay. We're going to go on step number 10. This is whenever we put our motor here that we're going to install. Or actually, you may say that correctly. I don't want to give you the wrong name. Reversible generator. Or motor with wire connector. Okay. We're on step number 10. So we're going to need the generator. This one, you have to start on this picture here first. So we need these 2. If you notice, this one has this picture. Try to make sure you get it the right way. So our wire is going to be down here, coming out from the side. You have these 2 prongs, same as this one. You have 2 prongs, and we would connect our axle. That's going to be in the top. you're gonna have 2 more prongs on this side. That's how this is located. So we're gonna grab these and put them this way. Make sure these 2 holes are facing you and install it in the very last hole. Do the same thing for the next one, like that. Next, we're gonna go ahead and connect our generator to our frame. You've noticed here, these will go underneath in the bottom, located here, to this piece. These 2 pieces will connect to here. So let's go ahead and do that. Make sure your axle goes inside to the axle slot, located there. Okay. If you need to rotate your generator in order for the axle to come in, you can do that, that's fine. Actually make it easier on yourself. Okay, generator's in. We're gonna go ahead and go to step number 11. Okay, this one we're going to connect our light. So we will need this piece here. You have 2 options in this one. I would prefer to do the option where it's located on the top. So we're gonna go with this option, like this. So all you do is just grab it, install it here. Grab the bottom piece, and here we can connect our light, like that. Make sure it goes in 2 holes. Next, you just slip it through the bottom, like so. Okay, next we will grab our, let's see what they're called, tube adapters. So we have 2 tube adapters. We're gonna grab one. You're gonna put our anchor pins on each side. Just make sure you notice where the pins are located. So you want the row on the sides of the pins. Okay. Okay, what I like to do is I like to press against the table, make sure they're all nice and even. Seems that way. Okay, from step 12, and we did also step 13 at the same time. So we're gonna go to step 14. We're gonna go ahead and face our frame towards me. We're gonna flip it to the side. Now we're gonna go ahead and connect this base. Make sure you count the holes as well. I count 3, and then you're gonna plug in the 4th one. So 1, 2, 3, and plug in the 4th one. Make sure you get it nice and tight. Make sure it's in there so the windmill won't be too loose. Okay, and turn the page. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and start with the base. So we can go from 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. We're gonna do all these steps. So we grab our base. What we want to do is make sure that we have these located up like this. You see these little rims right here? Those, make sure they're both on the same sides. You don't want one facing like the opposite or like this. All right. So we're gonna flip them over, and we're gonna connect the bottom. Okay. Now we're gonna go ahead and start putting in our anchor pins. Here we also have the count. This one is located 4 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth one is where we put in our anchor pin. Make sure you skip one line. Like this. Skip a hole. Put the next anchor pin. Skip a hole. Put the next anchor pin. The next side you do something similar, but instead of skipping just one row of holes, you skip 2. So we're gonna skip the first one, second one, and we go to the third one. Now here, we will skip 4 holes as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, and connect in the 5th. And skip one, put an anchor pin, skip one, put an anchor pin, like this. Okay, we're gonna flip. This is gonna be the bottom of our base. But we wanted to connect it to each other, so we use this piece and put them together. We're going to put it on the edges like this. Next, we'll flip it over. We're going to go ahead and install this piece. Make sure you have it facing the correct way. Make sure these edges are on the sides. And this one with this pin here be facing this side to my left. Go ahead and squeeze in. Make sure it's all the way in. Since this is your base, it'll be holding your windmill. You want it to be nice and sturdy. Okay. Our next step is, in order to connect our tube, connect both bases. So we're going to go ahead and grab our frame and install it in the tube. Good way is to put it down on the table and squeeze down. Make sure you align it to this hole. If it's not aligned, that's fine. All you have to do is just spin. Once you hear that pop, you know it's in there. You'll be doing the same thing to this one. Just make sure the windmill is facing the same way as your base, as you see in the picture. So you want it straight like this, and your base straight like that. Go ahead and do the same thing, and it's in there. That's what you want to see. Okay. Our next step will be to build our fins, our blades, put them together. So you're going to use this red piece. Let's see what it's called so I have the right name. Universal adapter body. That's what we're going to use. And we also use a universal adapter cover as well. Okay. We're going to go ahead and start. We're going to go to number 21. Grab this piece and grab this piece. Now, if you notice, you have these 2 holes. Those are going to align to these 2 right here. That's where your screws are going to go. Like this. Now in this step, you will use a Phillips screwdriver. It's not on the kit, so you might want to try to find one and put these screws inside. These screws don't have to be really tight as long as the part is not loose. Okay. Alright. Piece is nice and tight. Next, we'll go ahead and put our blades. So make sure this piece is facing this way when you put your blades. So your blades will be installed in one of these pieces here. You're going to skip one, put in the next one. Make sure you get this side of the blades. You do not want to put it the other way around like this. Make sure you're facing this clear plastic. Okay, this is what you want to see. Next, we go ahead and put this part onto our frame. Okay. If you need to spin the axle in order to install it, that's totally fine. It actually helps you to put it together. You just put it nice in there, try to wiggle around until it finally pops in. Now next, we're going to put this cover. We will not actually need this cover on there in order to hold it together. It's easier for you to leave it off. With this off, we're able to turn our blades and actually collect our data. So we'll actually leave this piece off. Alright. So that is pretty much our windmill completed. That's all.